Hey, what's up, guys? Been sitting here for a minute, um, um, trying to get everything together, and sometimes the streaming software just does its own thing. I don't know why, but it does. Been here on time. I was clicking the live button, and it wasn't acting right. Um, so obviously, every day I'm here, I got something to talk about. Some annoyances that I'll talk about later. I won't even get into them now because we're already starting a little late. But anyways, let me pull this up here. So, Bitcoin, yes, it's been going up, but like I always tell people, is I'm not even the short term stuff. I'm not even worried about because what I can say. Let me see if I can blow this up some more. Um, what I see happening to a lot of people is what I talk about all the time. Their emotions are flipping back and forth. Look at what Bitcoin did here. Look at this down, up, down, up, down, up. Now it always does this, but it's been really pronounced like for the last um for the last 24 hours. And people keep changing their minds whether they're bullish or not, whether they're bearish. They don't know what they're thinking. And another thing I saw a lot of you and ask about this in the Patreon or whatever. I'm not gonna say any names, but I keep making this reference. I've made this reference a couple of times on stream to recognize when you are listening to a YouTuber or an influencer who is a trader versus an investor. And I see a lot of people today saying, well, this person was talking this way yesterday and they're talking this way today. That's because they're a trader. And if they have enough influence to make you guys sell out your positions or to buy in your positions, they can trade either way. They can long, they can short. They can make money both ways. I know for a lot of you people who are new, you don't understand how people can make money when the price is going down, but they can. So that's all that is, and that's why I keep saying to you guys, we don't trade. We get in at the best prices, and then we hold until a good time when we've made some good gains on the projects. So I don't know how many times I can reiterate that. And I'm not trying to say like I'm the only person to listen to, but I'm saying if you don't recognize the difference between influencers and YouTubers, it can mess you up because you'll be selling one moment and buying back the next. And Bitcoin does so many movements that you can never time it. A lot of, like I keep saying, a lot of experienced traders get messed up. So just stop trying to play that game. Um, so I'm gonna talk about this story here. Said Goldman Sachs digital asset head says crypto rally is driven by retail investors. Um, March 19th, the recent surge in cryptocurrency prices has been driven by retail investors, but institutions are starting to join in, Goldman Sachs head of digital assets, Matthew Dermont, said on Tuesday. Bitcoin, the biggest cryptocurrency, hit an all time high of 73,794 last week and has gained 50% so far this year, pulling other crypto prices along with it. The price action has still been driven by retail primarily, but it's the institutions that we've started to see come in, Dermont said, speaking at the Digital Asset Summit and Conference in London. You really see how the appetite is transformed. And that's what I keep saying to you. I'll say this about the overall crypto market, as I always say, there's a lot of naysayers right now. There's a lot of people who think crypto is fake or is fake digital money or is useless or you can't spend it in the store or whatever they're saying about it. But like this article says, the appetite is going to change. All those people who are naysayers now that are not in the market who thinks it's stupid, they're going to be the ones FOMOing into the market, whether it's this cycle or next cycle, and most likely a lot of them will be later this cycle, and that's where you're going to make your money from. I will say that also not just in generalization of the entire space. This is the same for individual tokens. You'll see people saying, "Well, maybe a certain token isn't moving," and like I've said this multiple times on the stream as well. Being early does not always feel as good as people try to make it. Um, not as good as people try to make it seem, because when you're early, sometimes you are sitting there for 3 or 4 months when the token doesn't move, and all of a sudden it does a 20, 30x. We've had that happen on multiple occasions. Um, so yeah, you have to wait till the appetite comes to you. One thing I will say, I actually was going to say this much later in the stream, but I'll say it now because it correlates with what I'm talking about, is you've got to stop jumping on top of the narratives. A lot of people, you're always jumping on top of the trend. When the trend happens, then you jump on it after. Instead of being before the trend happens, you need to be early to the trend. No matter, even if 2 or 3 trends come before your trend or whatever the tokens you're holding, you just got to hold. Because one thing I saw a lot of people, I'm not going to say any names, but I'll say that a lot of people asking me about a certain influencer this morning about them flip flopping on whether they're bearish or bullish. Understand that they're a trader. Number two, um, this is the second time this person has reiterated that, hey, I was talking about these tokens at this point, but I'm no longer holding these tokens, and it's confusing y'all. And that's what I'm saying. When you're listening to the wrong influencers, or you don't know how to listen to them because you don't understand how they invest, you'll end up thinking you have a long-term hold when it's just a temporary trade. And so when Zoe's saying it, and when it's pumping, or everybody's talking about it, you think Zoe's wrong. Zoe doesn't know what he's talking about. Zoe's not in the know. Granted, I can't know everything about every project, but that's how I know some of you might see it sometimes. And then when it starts dumping, you get confused. And that's because I'm saying it was just a trade. It is not a long-term hold. And a lot of you get antsy because you have a long-term hold. That's a good long-term hold, but you'll sell it off because it's not moving, not realizing that you're way ahead of the curve, and it's going to be something that everybody's talking about in the future. I even see what some of the tokens that were sitting still for a minute. And I'm very transparent, as y'all should know. I'm very aggravated right now, so it's definitely showing in my energy. So I tried to rest a little bit last night. I peeped into the group earlier this morning. I didn't really say anything. I was getting myself together, breakfast and drinking my water, as I need to be doing now. But I saw people saying, "Hey, people are talking about this token now," and that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be anybody's all-knowing guru, your God, your savior, anything. But what I try to do is, or what I do is, get you in tokens that I know are going to be hot and they're going to be long-term holds. And I saw some people saying, "Oh my man, this person was talking about this token, and this person's talking about this token," but before. And I won't say, for one of them, I won't say I was the only one to talk. It's not about even being the only one to talk about it. I know a lot of people like saying, "I'm the only one. I was the only one that told you about this," or whatever. So I'm not trying to say that with that type of arrogance. What I'm saying is, I try to get people, or I do, I gotta stop saying that word. I do get the group into the tokens early before people are talking about them, because I know the people are going to be talking about them. So like I said, being early doesn't always feel good. Sometimes your certain tokens pump faster than even I think they will. I might have thought that this token was going to pump before this one, but then this one takes off. Either way, we're holding both of them. Um, but yeah, so I mean, that's the type of research I do, and that's why. And then you have to take the good with the bad. The same reason that I can get in tokens early is the same reason that I miss some of them, because I'm studying a certain group of them so much that I'm trying to make sure this is going to be hot, that I may miss another one over here. I will say I have like 3 or 4 of them that I thought I was really going to be on top of, that I haven't been, but it's all cool. Like I said, this ain't Pokemon. You can't catch them all. But for the ones we're in, they're definitely gonna be well spoken about. Um, and yeah, a lot of people are going to be shilling them. I keep saying I got so much on my mind. Let me get to this next story. Now, I was about to talk about one thing, but I'll talk about that next. Now, this story I'm going to talk about a while, and I'm going to talk about this story from multiple different angles, at least 3 different angles, I guess I'll say. Just a minute. So it says BlackRock. If you don't know who BlackRock is right now, it's one of the biggest asset managers. They hold a lot of the assets and the wealth for the top 1% in the entire world. Trillions of dollars worth of assets that they control. A lot of people are bullish on them because they have not a BlackRock, but a Bitcoin ETF that's been causing a lot of money to flow into Bitcoin because of the ETF buying, and also because of people knowing that a lot of people respect BlackRock. So a lot of people are buying themselves off the different exchanges, whether it be Coinbase, Binance, or whatever, because they see that BlackRock is buying it, which legitimizes crypto more in other people's eyes, even though we've already been here. So anyway, it says BlackRock creates a fund with securitize, not the best name, but I'll let them have it. BlackRock creates a fund with Securitize, a big player in real-world asset tokenization. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said in an interview early that the company's filings for spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs, Ethereum ETFs, were stepping stones towards tokenization. Now, you know, these people are playing chess. You know, you always got to play chess in this game and not checkers. I know it sounds like something fancy to say, but it's a real fact. You got to play chess. So they were already making these moves, knowing what their next move was. So what you may think is someone's main move is probably not their main move. You got to set it up first. It's just like setting up a play in football, or you got to set up the misdirection, or basketball. You set up the misdirection to make them think you're going to the right, then you pass the ball or run it to the left. You know what I mean? So that's how you got to move. But anyway, it said investment management giant BlackRock has created a fund called the BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund, long name, according to a document filed with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, which is the SEC. The fund, incorporated in the British Virgin Islands, will be launched in a partnership with asset tokenization firm Securitize. Still don't like that name. The filing does not reveal what assets the fund will hold, but Securitize's presence potentially suggests the product has something to do with the tokenization of real-world assets, or RWA, industry jargon for representing ownership of a wide range of assets through a token on a blockchain. And this is part of my next story. I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me go here. Let me see. I haven't tried this before, and I'm pretty sure there's a way to do this, but I'm going to try to do it from here. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
So say and we believe it's so important to be anticipating the next move. I would also say on the beginnings of a ETF Bitcoin, we believe ETFs are a technology no different than Bitcoin was a technology for asset storage. We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities about bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we can customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stocks. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. I believe if you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own share.
So hopefully you were able to hear that. It's just really bullish. And this was what we've been saying for a long time. And I will say when I came in, it's probably still not one of my biggest, but I do know that real world assets is going to be a big narrative. And so even when you're trying to explain to people, like, I don't want to get too deep in, when you're trying to explain to people on the outside and to show them how legit crypto is, a lot of them don't want to believe it because, they're still, I'm going to just say this how it is. I'm sorry, whatever. I know how I grew up and I know what my community is like. And that's not even just from I grew up in the hood and whatever you want to call it, but even to the traditional world. What I will say is I think hood or urban type life like is promoted in hip hop is really not even the majority of the Black community. I know a lot of people outside of the Black community think that's all we are. There's much more of us outside than in there. And I know this from being on both sides. But what I will say is, as the Black community, for multiple reasons, whether it was ways that we were, our abilities were stifled in the past or whatever, usually late to a lot of stuff. I see a lot of people just now getting onto stocks when now the world is moving on to crypto. Stocks are still there, but now we're tokenizing stocks, but that's still crypto. And we're moving on to this. And, I see a lot of people like, I don't want to give my full opinion on this because I'll probably get an argument with people, but being late to 401ks, pensions, Roth IRA, like I'm not studying any of that trash. It's, to me, it's an old man's game. There's much better ways to make money in crypto, and then you don't have to worry about when you retire and 59 years old and trying to pull out a Roth. And yeah, I'm not going to. That's probably already said enough to start enough conflict. Um, but when you're talking to them about this stuff, they don't respect your point of view because they may know you as a friend or a family member or whatever. And they respect, if they knew, they don't even probably know who Larry Fink is, but if they knew who Larry Fink is, they're just getting to the point where they're finding out, about Dave Ramsey and people like this, who I don't be listening to Dave like that, no way. But when they find out that the top 1% of these people like this with this type of money are making these types of moves, then it would make it more legitimate to them. But for right now, they just think it's you talking about it and you just tripping and you living in la la land or whatever. But so yeah, this is interesting to see him articulate this like this. Obviously, we already knew Larry Fink and BlackRock were in the space and already knew they were messing around in the RWA sector or whatever. But to see the way he verbalized this and how he kind of expounded on it, even though he could have went further, just makes it more bullish for the space. What I will say is now, I never try to front on my streams, as y'all know now, but I talked about this project multiple times in the past, at least on 2 or 3 streams. And I did say I wasn't going to buy into it because it was a little bit too high for my market. I'm pretty sure this thing still will definitely pump. I know a lot of money is going to be, let me say this. Yeah, I'm glad I haven't pulled the tab up yet. So let me say this, and this is a very important piece. Once again, this is some more perspective stuff. So I keep saying to people that, yeah, there's going to be a lot more money in this cycle, right? In ways. And let me explain what I'm saying by in ways. There's going to be a lot of more institutional money coming into the space, which is going to cause people who invest in an institutionalized way to start investing. But that could be, now this is going to sound contradicting. Just listen, I'm trying to give you some perspective here. So what is going to cause people to invest, those people are going to come in and they probably are going to invest in some of the higher caps, right? Because they hear about the BlackRocks, the Bridgewater, and all these different people, Fidelity, so on and so on. But here's one thing that I don't see a lot of people talking about. And this is not me trying to be bearish because y'all know I'm definitely bullish and we're trying to make money in this space. I see a lot of people as if they're seeming to forget that retail ran a lot of the altcoins running up in just the space in its entirety. That's Bitcoin, Ethereum included. Of course, the institutional investors are bringing a lot of money into the space. They're bringing more eyes to the space. But retail was the one that was really pumping the bags. Why do I say this? It's because it's like a lot of people are steady forgetting all the stimulus money that was printed last cycle. All that stimulus money was definitely printed on purpose. What I believe was, as I've said time and time again, is they believe that stimulus money was going to go into stocks and all the stuff that they usually invest in. I think they got really aggravated when they saw like, wait, where's the money going? Why isn't the stock market pumping like we thought it could? We know how much money we put out there, but most of that money was flowing into crypto. And so it upset them. And that's why they have revamped their whole game plan. And they've came back this cycle with different strategies and different plans or whatever. So I'm saying that to remind you of what I've always been saying. Yes, this cycle could be bigger because Bitcoin is already at the market. I mean, not the market, but at the price that it was last cycle, and it could double and maybe triple from here, right? So all that money does flow back from Bitcoin on down. But the astronomical like money, how people are saying it, I don't think it's going to be as much as people think because we don't have a bunch of stimulus checks that are printing and giving people free money to throw into the market. So it's kind of half and half. I think it's going to be more money, but as I keep saying, there's way more projects on the market right now. I want to see what the number of projects is right now because we checked last time, it was like 2 months ago, and it was at like 10,500. I'm pretty sure that number has grown by now. I keep saying by the beginning of next year, it could be up to 20 to 40,000 projects. So a lot of people are not really factoring in all these things. And you think it's boring, but when you have this perspective, you think about how the market works, where's the money's coming from, where the money is flowing to, you can make more money instead of, like I said, trying to jump onto every trend that's going on. That was a little bit longer than I wanted to be, and actually, it didn't come where I thought I was going to talk about it later, but it was just on my mind. But yeah, the stimulus checks we had just printing like crazy last cycle. You got to remember, we don't have those this cycle. Will they? They probably will find a way to start printing money because I mean, you never put it past them, right? But just always remember that when you getting extra bullish and you like, yeah, mid cap is going to be 7 times what it was last cycle. No, it's not. Chill, because for one, there's more competition, there's more saturation in the market, and there's no stimulus check. So yeah, we're still going to make money. I'm not trying to be bearish, but I'm just trying to give you the right mindsets. Like I keep saying, so you manage your expectations and you're not up here, trying to calculate a 3,000x in your portfolio and how many Lambos you're going to buy. You got to remember these things. But what I will say with this news with BlackRock happening, or so well, that's probably still small. But with this news BlackRock happening, I knew this was going to happen. I thought once what I was saying was, I'm sorry. Um, I uh, I talked about this project like on 2 or 3 streams, and I said I wasn't investing in it because the market cap was higher. But what I said was because people respect BlackRock, and once they start coming into the space, and like I said, Ondo is connected with Bridgewater, they're connected with which is Ray Dalio, they're connected with BlackRock. Who else they connected with? I'm pretty sure they got some kind of. I think I saw they had some partnership. Was like, let me see. Let me pull up. I don't want to. I want to say nothing. Say anything that's incorrect. But I know it was Bridgewater. It was BlackRock. Oh, they got Morgan Stanley now. Yeah, what I'm saying, it's going to be a lot of people that are going to be partnering with Ondo as a project. And as you can see, it's just 40% on the day after this news. And mind you, this is not a small project. I believe this market cap was around maybe 600 million at the time. And so it just shows you how overnight, that's a lot of money to flow into the space. This got like 300 and, almost $340 million in volume over the last 24 hours. Yes, it's maybe just like 4% on the 7-day, whatever, but it's 40% in the day. Anyway, I say that to say, excuse me. This is how people are viewing the moves that BlackRock does. So they're definitely going to be looking for the projects that BlackRock is in. I think Ondo will do pretty well this cycle, but I don't know if it's going to do the numbers that I want it to do. But to be honest, it actually could. It actually could, especially when it was like 400 million when I was first looking at it, or maybe even lower. I can't remember. But yeah, so yeah, it could do pretty well. So this is kind of stuff you got to be paying attention to in the space. Like I said, I'm going to talk about this from multiple different angles. So I'm just briefly passing through this right here to show you. This is what a lot of people pay attention to in the Twitter space for as crypto. Excuse me. So it says just in, BlackRock launches digital asset fund and deposits $100 million of USDC on Ethereum network. Now you heard that. There's no reason to pause on this for too long. But what I do want to show you is this. So what you have when stuff like this happens. So, excuse me. So they put out the news and they put out the article. So people in the space are going to try to take advantage of this any type of way they can. This is where you're not to be stupid and to not be unaware of what's going on in the space. So a lot of people have been circulating this around, and they said, "Look, y'all, BlackRock has started this fund or whatever, and they put $100 million into this wallet, and they were saying I didn't expect it to turn into meme coins. So what happens is a lot of people start sending their meme coins to these wallet addresses and trying to convince unintelligent, or excuse me, not unintelligent. I'm sorry, that's not what I meant to say, but uninformed crypto or new crypto investors. They try to trick them to say, hey, look, these are the meme coins that BlackRock is holding. And then everybody FOMOs into them. And most of them are scams. I've actually looked at only, I think 2 of those may have kind of like a following and they may do all right. The rest of them like trash. I know some of these I know are straight scammers that made them because I already been seeing some of them around. But so don't get fooled by this stuff. BlackRock did not buy these meme coins. They just sent it to the wallet. So that's the pluses and minuses of being inside of in crypto. I'm always wondering at one point, is there going to be a way for them to stop unsolicited tokens from arriving in your wallet? Like you have to have some kind of agreement that a token is coming to your wallet. You know what I mean? Like when you sign in your email from another address and then it sends you a message on your phone saying, hey, did you sign into this email? I think that's something that somebody should work on. And maybe that'd be a good project for somebody if you code or you into the blockchain space. Oh, but I just said to say, don't fall for this crap. Like this, they did not buy these meme coins. It's just stuff that's sent to the wallet, and then a lot of you going to speculate. Well, it could pump because somebody's going to do it. I'm smart money, so dumb money's going to invest into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to make a trade on it. You're just as much as dumb money as them. So you can play the game if you want to, but why do that when you can put your money into good projects? Um, Actually, I'm not even. This is actually a very bullish article. I'm not going to talk about it on stream because then somebody will take it and act like it was their alpha. So, um, but so I'll talk about this one. Now this one is different people have different perspective on this. So it says at this stage in the sell off, I'm pretty sure you can pick up almost any coin in the market and be up on it in the next 24 to 48 hours. So what I will say is I do kind of believe that because when we have FOMC meetings and stuff like this, which we're having today, the market gets really rocky around that Monday or Tuesday if y'all don't know, and usually it goes down or just gets stagnant, and then people use it as an advantage to trade. So that Monday or Tuesday, when we have a FOMC meeting, the market will go down, and then after that, sometimes it will go up that Thursday or Friday, or whatever. Maybe it'll be the next week. But then again, we have this whole speculation right now. So it's the FOMC meeting that's happening right now. We also have the speculation of whether the market is doing its pre-market having pre-Bitcoin having retracement. So a lot of people are on the fence arguing back and forth whether it's going to retrace further. And, this dip is nothing. The dip hasn't been big enough. And I did say yesterday that we were only at like a 14.6 percentage in the dip, and we're even higher now. It's even lower now. It might be like 10, 12%. And so a lot of people are expecting that 20 to really a 30% dip. I can't say. I'm of the mindset and thinking that we may not have these astronomical 30%, 40% dips anymore. I think the 20 and 25 is maybe it, and which sounds like the same, but it's really not. So I know like some well-respected people in the space are saying like, I know, or they think that we're going to dip even further, but there's also well-respected people saying that, hey man, dip is almost over and we about to skyrocket. Doesn't matter because that's why I say don't try to trade. Just focus on your at this point in the market. Focus on your tokens, what you're buying, making sure you're getting good entry on these tokens, and making sure you're buying at a good price. And then you work it that way. So y'all can play the game of crystal ball and who's a fortune teller or not. I don't have time for that. I'm not trying to be a fortune teller. But let me use this as an example too. And I'm getting to what y'all probably know is the main point of my stream. Usually I address it in the beginning, but I waited. So once again, this is kind of in line with it. It's meme coins. You got a lot of scam meme coins out there, and I've been saying this over and over again. Meme coins are going to be a narrative. I know a lot of you don't like it. To be honest, I don't like it as much. I do like having something on the side to like try to gamble with or whatever, just a little bit of money. Even though I'm not a gambler, but they can make money, and I usually pick the good ones. Like I haven't had a bad performing one yet, like not yet, and I've been in like what eight something meme coins, maybe 8 or 9, and not a single one has performed badly. I don't get a meme coins and not. It's like, man, I thought it was going to go and it went down. Never, not one time this cycle have I done that. There's always been pretty much up. But what I will say is, you got a lot of people that's going to be shilling you meme coins, and you don't know which ones are what. And so these people lost a lot of money just playing around with meme coins. Like this is a stupid game to play. And some people put too much money in because they just really they feel like this could be life changing. This is the one. The more I put in, the more money I make. Yeah, you can kind of think about that when it's a legit project that has a legit team behind it. The team members, it's doc team members, it's good VCs behind it. Influencers going to pump it. Then you can do that. But to gamble on meme coins like this and lose this much money is just, I'm sorry, it's stupidity. Now moving closer into my main point. Beware of scammers in the space. Just like I said, with the people sending the scam meme tokens to the BlackRock wallet, there'd be this guy got caught and somebody screenshotted it. So he was acting like he's this all-knowing and good trader and like, hey man, I'm up 70% on the day. But what he did, he forgot to erase how much money he gained. So which means he probably put a 50 cents in or whatever, and then he gained $1 or whatever. Like he didn't make any money, and he's trying to make like he's making these big trades and making all his money. So follow me for trading and financial advice because I know what I'm doing. You got a lot of these people scamming this space. But what I will say, the last part before I get to my main point, I love this because I think this is how every single scammer in the space, and there's a lot of scammers in the space that don't know what the crap they're talking about, and they just keep scamming people with their Patreon and all this other trash stuff. This is how scammers should be treated in the space. Let me turn this up so you can hear this. Let me know if you can hear it or not.
Today's guest is Kyle Davies, advisor to Oxfund and co-founder of the now bankrupt Three Arrows Capital. Welcome, Kyle.
Hey, Laura. Thanks for having me on.
Your crypto hedge fund, Three Arrows Capital, collapsed in June 2022. And you haven't been cooperative with Teneo, which is in charge of liquidating 3AC's assets. You then launched and closed a crypto bankruptcy claims exchange, OpenX. You launched 3AC Ventures, which now appears to be defunct or at least has a non-working website. And recently you became the advisor to Oxfund. When I asked on X what I should ask you, a large number of people expressed dislike of you or disapproval with how you've conducted yourself since the collapse of 3AC. So why do you continue to try to work in crypto?
I mean, Laura, you had some loaded intro there, right? Do you think we should address some of those?
Go
ahead. Okay.
Today's guest is Kyle Davies, advisor to Oxfund and co-founder of the now bankrupt.
I know, like I said, I just grew up differently. I don't know how people can be scamming in the space and then they just continue to do it like nobody notices it. And even like I said, the danger people put themselves in when you're playing with people's money, I just don't understand it. I'm not going to get too deep into this, and I'm probably not going to even go into it like some people want, but I'm just like, what I'm tired of, and I know people don't realize it, but I'm just very tired of, you guys don't understand how much time I put into research and tokens. And a lot of people say it is like, oh, they're just pumping your bags. No, like, what I'm not going to do, let me explain to you, what I'm not going to do is do hard work and let somebody else take credit for it. I'm not about to do the hard research and all stuff, and you just come and sneak in my group. As I'm very obvious that someone is a mole in my Patreon and is stealing pics, or the person is the mole themselves in my Patreon, stealing pics and acting like they are the one who found them, and there's some gem hunter, an all-knowing gem hunter, and they keep stealing pics. And I don't know what's wrong with the Patreon members that they can't figure out by now that this person is a scammer and doesn't know what the crap they're talking about, doesn't know anything about crypto or the space, and keep stealing pics from me. And it's crazy that SPACEMESH is one of the hardest finds. It wasn't even on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko for the longest time. I had to do very deep research to find this project. And I don't understand. This is one thing I didn't notice. I talked to some of my Patreon members. I didn't know that people just go in their Patreon, because I haven't really, when I've been in my previous cycles, it's been like Telegram groups, right? So to say, even knowing how, I remember when I did first start my my Patreon, and one of, I had some coworkers that started with me or whatever, and so they were trying to find good people in the space, and I told them some good people, and I found a new person, which was EA in the space, and so I sent them over there, and even I like, they were even giving me notes like, hey man, he's got his set up like this, not taking any pics or whatever from his or whatever, but like, I didn't even know how to set up my Patreon or whatever, so I would see, like, try to take notes from how other people do stuff or whatever in different categories or whatever, and appreciate. I don't think I even told EA that. But not stealing like any of his picks or anything. But I didn't know people just send out buy alerts and don't even tell you what the project is, and blindly, like, it's crazy that somebody could try to steal SPACEMESH. And I know because I know people in the space that are deep in the space and know the tech that can't even explain what SPACEMESH is. So it's just really interesting to see somebody try to steal a pick from my Patreon that they can't even explain what it does. And the thing is, you can barely research on YouTube and find a person that will tell you what SPACEMESH does, because everybody's kind of like, it's techie, it's real techie, but there's some really bullish elements around it. But like I said, you know what? I always try to be the bigger person. And I know people seeing glimpses and stuff, but I keep saying it. I speak well, people see my smile, and I don't really think they understand like who they're messing with. But like I tell people, I let karma handle people, because I am one person. I've said this to the person, I've said it to other people. I am one single person. And to be honest, I'm and from where I'm from and the people around me, I'm a pretty dangerous person myself. But it's not me you have to worry about. It's the thousands of people when they find out that you're a scammer that you have to worry about. So if you want that on your conscience and you want to live the rest of your life afraid of, my face, that's cool. That's why a lot of people, don't want to come into crypto like that. They want people to know, my face. I really don't care, because the people around me always take care of me. So that's that. But it's the people who you're scamming who are just in your Patreon in your group and you don't know their faces. They could walk up on you at any moment and you've pissed them off because you scammed them and you don't even know who they are. If that's the way you want to live your life and that's what you want on your conscience, then I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, I'm gonna move right along from that. People gonna do what they're gonna do. Scammers gonna be scammers. But I'm gonna choose every moment I can to embarrass them. If you want to keep getting your Patreon members into projects after they pump 6 and 10x, you do that. That's anyways. But yeah, anyway, this video here with Davies is, I feel like that's how every scammer should get treated. They should be put on Front Street and everybody know who they are, what they did, and realizing you know, what's going on. But yeah, let's move along to these comments. I had some other stuff to talk about, but we kind of deep in here, so I'm gonna get to these comments and see what people are talking about. PC said, "Happy start to a new day, Zoe." I wish he was a little happier, but like I said, I'm on. You know, I still have a chance to make life-changing wealth. I have the opportunity to help other people make life-changing wealth. So it's, yeah, you're right. It's a happy start. Not the best start, but still a happy start. Natty said, morning, son. I like the consistency. Yeah, sorry I was a little bit late, but we definitely trying to be on here every weekday as we can. Chuck said, top of the morning. Crypto Rose said, I didn't hear about SpaceMesh till like a month ago. Unfortunately, still don't have any. Yeah, we've been on that for a couple of months now. Rob said, how's he at it again? Wow, he's at it again. Always. That's what scammers do. It's just crazy. This money is not even that important to, Anyways, Jacob said, from what I can tell, the BTC ETFs will increase volatility, not just help it go up. Exactly. Yeah, that's another point too. Very good point. Because deeper pullbacks, investors have the same emotions like everyone else does. Definitely, we can have a lot more volatility. I mean, they're definitely going to play the games. But like I tell people, as far as altcoins and you getting in early, it's still a good time. But like I said, I tell people the price you pay to make these astronomical gains is to have this volatility. So that's what you excuse me. That's what you have to deal with. Chuck said, BlackRock digital coin. I don't know if they're going to make their own digital. I don't think they want those problems. I don't think they're going to actually have their own digital token, but yeah. Shay Rock said, there are people who think Satoshi is really US and UK financial systems. Very coincidental. It was created at the same time as the 2008 crash. Yeah, I've said that. Yeah, and that's one thing. Listen, that's a big conversation to have, right? And that's why I know a lot of people, they got Satoshi Day and praise Satoshi or whatever. I have always been on the fence of who and what Satoshi could be. I'm just here to make money. But it's definitely something to think about. Like I've seen a lot of people, well, not a lot of people. I've seen some people with that point of view saying how, it was created right after the 2008 crash. And the saying goes that, Satoshi created it for that reason. But who, like I said, who is Satoshi? It's a lot of stuff going on under the curtains that we could not be aware of. I always refer back to the movie The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. Like the show could be happening right in front of you. You could be a part of the show and you won't even know it. And most of the times we are, because as we've learned in the age of information with the internet and social media, is like everybody's learning the media games that news sources play. That doesn't matter. I know a lot of people get caught up in what's conservative news and what's liberal news and all this stuff, but it's all the same trash. They all are working in propaganda. They hide the stories they want to hide. And then they talk about the stuff that they want to accentuate. So there's a lot of games being played right in front of our eyes, and you just got to know that there's a game being played. Once you know there's a game being played, you might not know all the rules. You might not know exactly how the game works, but you know there's a game being played. At least that helps protect you a little bit to really understand how to move in the world. Jacob said the stimulus money has not disappeared. It will forever circulate into the system. Yeah, true. But I mean, it was like week by week, people getting those stimulus checks and they're just throwing it into the market, meme coins pumping, Doge pumping, all that kind of stuff or whatever. No, I mean, you're correct on that. But like, it's in circulation, but it's not being sent in lump sums to like people weekly. So I mean, it's not saying who's right or who's wrong. You're right, I'm right in the way, so that's what I mean, like that just constant money that people were getting every week. It was like a second paycheck for some people, and they were just dumping it into the market. Chuck said coincidental BTC was specifically made because Satoshi didn't trust the banks after financial crash. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it could be it could be either. It could be the system themselves, and most people argue, they would say, well, if it's the system themselves, why didn't they buy it up in the beginning? There's still the Satoshi wallets that hold Bitcoin. So, and even though they haven't moved for years, nobody really knows. Nobody really knows, But all I know is I've made money in this market before, and there's more money to be made, and so that's why I'm here in the space. Hold on just a minute. Grab your ticket. Let me see here. I don't know what the streaming software is like freezing. Okay, am I freezing on the stream? I guess not, because I guess you guys would have said something. Mitch said Archie the Rat and his beta bootlickers. Man, I don't even understand, man. I can't even, like, the crazy thing is, like I said, I'm not gonna talk about this too long, but like I said, I'm from the hood. And I still have a lot of connections there. Not saying that like in a mafia way, but I know a lot of people there, and I know a lot of people who scam, whether it's credit card scams or whatever kind of scams. They always get caught in one or two ways. Like I see a lot of them, not realizing that some of the money they scammed or whatever they got is marked in a certain way. Then they end up going to jail because a lot of people thought it was just free money. Oh, if I show up to the ATM and I don't show my face or whatever, that's how they do it. And they go in the hoodies or whatever at night. They take a blank card or whatever, go in and scam the money out of ATM, but they don't realize it's marked. And then we're getting to a point where all these places not accepting cash anymore. Like this is alpha, whatever. So a lot of people are not realizing they're trying to scam in that fashion, that a lot of people are not accepting cash anymore. So then I've seen a lot of them that I know, they go and try to put it in the bank because wherever they was trying to spend it wouldn't take it. So they go and try to put it in the bank, and that's when they get caught and they end up going to jail, or they get caught by some other person who's living in diabolical ways or whatever, and end up getting killed. It's so stupid. It's some people are so stupid. The euphoria that brain. I always say to my friends that I believe we all have the same brain, but obviously we don't. It may be a brain in everybody's head, but they don't all use them the same way. A lot of people get caught up in greed and put themselves in danger just because they're too greedy. But you got to let people do what they're gonna do. Even though it really angers me, to be honest. Like I said, even last night I had to take a break. I was like, you know what, I'm just going here and just chill on the couch and do some other stuff. But I'm very sick of people taking credit for the research that I put in after I put in hours to research. So everybody else sees, oh, it's just a pick, it's just another token, or at least they're pumping your bags. No, you're not going to be taking credit for my work, and I don't appreciate that. Caillou said, so many games launching that look extremely good. Gaming seems like it will be very interesting. Yeah, it will. It definitely will. There's some of them are launching too late. I know some, unless they change the launch dates. Even though I like them, I'm probably not even going to touch them. And another thing I keep saying with a lot of these gaming plays and stuff, not just gaming, a lot of projects, they're just coming out. They're coming out way higher evaluations than I want them to. I got about 2 left that I know somebody tried to steal from me when I was talking about them on another stream and try to act like they had some alpha, and they're going to look stupid because I found out that those projects are launching much higher, and there's not going to be many gains to get in these projects. But that's why I let people steal from my channel or just try to sneak in my Patreon and steal from the Patreon or whatever, and they don't even know what they're talking about, and they're going to look stupid. Like I said, trying to put out SpaceMesh and not even know what SpaceMesh does. But yeah, there's two projects that I was really bullish on, and I saw what they were launching at, and I was like, nah, it's whatever. You can't hold everything, even when you're bullish on it. So we got a lot of gaming plays right now that I think are going to make some really good returns. So yeah, gaming is going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be one of the biggest narratives. And like I said before, a lot of people have the mindset like, why isn't gaming running right now? it's the one thing when gaming does start running, I believe it's always been like that one narrative that continues to run. Like when Gala started running, once people found out what it was, it's not like AI or some of these other narratives that they have a season where they run because something happens. Once gaming runs, it continues to run. Gala ran to like the end. Let me pull that up. Even though, listen, y'all, I'm not bullish on Gala right now, so I don't even want y'all to think that I have no ambitions to hold Gala. Let me look at this chart though. Yeah, see how Gala, once it started running, it ran to the end. I keep zooming out. It ran to the end of the cycle, like here at the top in November. So that's what thing people, if you don't understand that now, I'm gonna say that clearly on stream. You may say, well, when is gaming's turn? Gaming doesn't have a turn. Like once it starts, that is the turn. And it's usually for the rest of the cycle. And it continues to run because everybody can come in and understand gaming. So that, with some of the plays we had, you just got to be patient. Some of them have already run already, like the G Swifts and, other projects or whatever. But yeah, gaming is going to be real interesting. It's going to be sorry, I got a message. It's going to be a real good narrative. It's going to be one of the hottest narratives. So yeah, it's one of the ones we're really looking at. And like I said, with this whole Larry Fink thing, and you still got another the right ones. And I'm not even going to talk about some of them. I see a lot of fake AI plays, a lot of fake real world asset plays, and really there's like fake projects in almost every narrative because people know it's going to be a narrative. They're going to create these fake projects. Like I said, I pointed out one. Yeah, I think I went to the full length on the stream the other day, showing you the Twitter page that they had, showing you the what the price was at, and how it dumped. And who's to say? My channel is small. They probably don't even know that I call this project at maybe a run later. Don't go FOMOing into that trash because there's other good projects on the market. But they decided to probably stop running it. And let me say this too, because this happened like after the stream. I was looking at something, and the same project that I called out on the stream the other day, as far as the fake AI project that I saw them cooking up, they had a alternative project that the same people were running, and that one also, it ran a little bit further. Excuse me, it ran further than that one, but it's also retracing. And that's what when y'all think I'm being boring, when y'all think I'm missing a narrative, when y'all think I'm missing the pump, what I keep saying is it'll pump because people are taking advantage of the narrative, but they're going to forget about it because they're going to forget they created this fake project because they already probably pulled out their profits on y'all and used you as exit liquidity. And so both of that project is tanking, and so is that one. So when you're feeling good about this project that you caught a run on, you heard some influencers talking about it, please know that a lot of these are going to start dumping down, especially these fake AI projects. They will make them look very legit. They'll create a website. It'll have links you can click. They'll create a link tree. They'll create a Twitter page. It'll have a following. Influencers will talk about it. So, like I said, you right now, I don't mind people thinking Lorenzo's boring or he doesn't. I'm not getting the right plays or whatever. Or I'm missing the narrative. So, it's cool. But I know in the long run, like the plays are gonna pump. Hold on here. But so yeah, you got to be careful with these, and same as the meme coins, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's the news that's out on the market. If anybody has any more questions or comments or whatever. If not, it's maybe one of the shorter streams, which I don't mind. I got to get in here and study and get on some other stuff. Oh, let me see something else here too. But yeah. So anyway, if you're hanging out on the stream with us and maybe you haven't gotten into it yet, if you want to get into Patreon, as the title says, if you want to get into the Patreon before stuff actually already pumps to 4, 5, and 10x, join the Patreon, which is patreon.com/cryptozo. We find a lot of these plays early, and we find some good ones early. Maybe not all of them, and maybe I've already found them early and just don't care to invest in them myself. But yeah, if you want to get into some plays before they've already done a 5 and 10x and have limited returns left on them, join the Patreon. Is one of the cheapest Patrons in the space. And as I always say, don't mistake because the Patreon is cheap that there's no value there, because it definitely is there. So yeah, join the Patreon. The price will be doubled soon. Is it already at that point now? We have a couple of spots remaining. but the price will double and it will not be going back and stuff. And especially once this market gets hot, you're definitely going to want to be in a group. I know a lot of people in the bear market, especially, everybody felt like there's two places where people feel like they're geniuses: coming out of the bear market and in the middle of the bull run. But once that bull run is getting started and is really starting to pump up, you realize how much you don't know and that you need some other people to bounce stuff off of. So right now you may be feeling like, oh, it's cool, I'm good or whatever. But that's usually how people don't get out the market at the right time, or they don't end up getting into the right plays, because the market is just pumping, and that's causing, because their heart is racing, they just start FOMOing into whatever they hear people talking about. They don't even have time to research it because the prices are moving too fast. I'm telling you, there's going to be bad for people who are not in the right groups, and it's going to be good for you that are in the group. But it's the same way that you got to manage your expectations and manage your emotions when the prices are falling. I know you think that's the problem because you're getting depressed and you get scared because your portfolio is falling. But where you really have to manage yourself is when the portfolio is pumping, because then you start getting stupid crazy and you be like, your 50x becomes now you want a 500x, and you know what I mean? So you got to be in the right groups or whatever. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me on the stream. If you want to get into Patreon, it's at patreon.com/cryptozo. And I will catch you guys next time.